Hey guys, it's Luke here with New Age Thought, back in Austin, Texas, and I want to make a video about. Here, let me get some better lighting. About all these UFOs, like the Chinese spy balloons and all the stuff that's going on in the news, right? And I have multiple different theories on it. But here's the dealio, okay? Let's just start with what we know. Chinese spy balloons flying around the U.S. Why are we hearing about it now? Because contrary to popular belief, this kind of stuff happens all the time, and it's not necessarily like breaking news. Like the U.S. military doesn't, every time it shoots down like a little balloon or something that comes into airspace, it doesn't go on CNN and as some viral thing. So that makes me think that they are kind of stoking, like they want the U.S. population to really be thinking about these spy balloons in China and anti-Chinese sentiment sort of thing. Maybe they're preparing us for kind of like it's a type of false flag type of deal where they're trying to stoke anti-Chinese sentiment in the United States to then have something else happen later, which makes it, a chain of events one by one. All of a sudden we're ready to go to war with China. Because right now I think the U.S. citizens don't want to go to war with China. Nobody wants war, right? But there are, or very powerful forces at work that would like to see that for a variety of reasons. One, the 2024 election is coming up, and if you start a war, it's known that, if you're already president and you start a war as president, you're more likely to get reelected. Bush did that. Many presidents have done that, but they also do it just because, it's really hard to kind of take over a war, so to speak. But the age of doing that, in my opinion, has come to an end. I don't believe that the U.S. population can be so easily tricked into a war. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think we've kind of smartened up a little bit since the age of 9/11 and everything. So anyway, so Chinese spy balloon, okay. But then on a side note, we have all these videos of, all these articles coming out like UFOs, like unidentified flying objects. Now, flying over, Canadian and U.S. airspace have been shot down by U.S. fighters. These are, Joe Rogan posted one on his Instagram story. Now remember, UFO doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fucking green alien in a ship or any sort of alien life, extraterrestrial life. It could just mean it's another fucking type of spy balloon. We don't really know what the fuck it is. It's just unidentified. But I will say this, to come out with articles being even mentioning the terminology UFO, and I've been talking about this for years. All right, I've been talking about aliens for years. I've been telling everybody they're real. They're not necessarily a threat. I think just like humans, we all have different intentions at different times, and I think sometimes we don't understand how things work or the larger picture of things. But I think it's very possible that what's going on with these UFOs is that we could be, there could be forces at work that are staging basically a fake UFO sort of thing, hysteria, right? Because we already did COVID, right? So COVID, they released COVID, mass hysteria, everybody got vaccinated, whatever. It's a way to kind of control the population, but in order to control, you need to divide and conquer, or you need to have an enemy that, you can either, say, hey, you need to sacrifice this in order to fight this enemy, like in 9/11, it was, you need to give up your privacy in order to better identify terrorist threats, right? So now it could be, oh, well, you need to fucking, do whatever because there's fucking aliens or, UFOs and we're facing some incredible crisis. And if there's one way to unite the world in a global order, it would definitely be with a threat from outside this world. Ronald Reagan talked about that in his speech at the United Nations back in the 80s. Excuse me. So what do I think is going on? I don't really know, but something smells fishy, and I want to keep everybody posted on it and just keep watching very closely, okay? UFOs are real in multiple ways. So there are man-made UFOs. There are UFOs that come from outside of this earth, okay? There are UFOs that aren't even physical craft. that are just be like light objects, that move at incredible speeds. We saw one over the Dome of the Rock in Israel. I think it was in early 2000s. And these videos are out there, but there's a concerted effort to spread, disinformation about them, or, there'll be like articles that come out saying like light was seen over, Dome of the Rock, but it turns out it was just, this. So they give you a little bit of truth and a little bit of lie to kind of, keep you like, okay, something's happening, but you don't really know the truth, right? And that's good enough for the time being. But there's definitely something going on right now. We're approaching a major U.S. election. Donald Trump's going to run again. A lot of people don't want to see Trump be president again. And I think that we're going to see a clash of a whole bunch of different things happen in 2024. And I'm not happy about it. I'm not excited about it. But we're really going to start shaping the future of humanity come 2024 and onward. So just remember, guys, like if you see an article about UFOs, do not think it's ridiculous. Like, this is real shit. It's been happening since the 40s. It's been happening since the dawn of human civilization. We've had contact with extraterrestrials, okay? And the proof is everywhere. Göbekli Tepe is an ancient site in Turkey, and it totally, if you really are curious about human beings' contact with extraterrestrials, start researching things like Göbekli Tepe and other kind of historic megalithic monuments, right, that don't add up with the traditional historical viewpoint of how humans progressed. And the reason that's important is because you go, okay, humans were hunter-gatherers, and all of a sudden we had civilization, we had crops, agriculture, and this happened over the span of 100 years. What happened? It really, that's a pretty big jump from collecting berries to building fucking ziggurats and temples and chisels, like, in 100 years. Think about that, 100 years. That's really not a long amount of time. So anyway, I'm starting to go off on a tangent, but to keep the video on subject, watch out for more UFO articles. I think we're going to see increasing amounts of them. I think they are going to be used to try to say that they're a threat when they are not, or they are just kind of staged by the government, but they will create a sense of fear and hysteria, which will allow, a global conglomerate to seize power over the earth, essentially. And then it's a very confusing issue because there are real UFOs and then there are man-made UFOs, and all of which can be twisted by the media into making you think of certain things. So keep your mind open, keep your mind sharp, question everything, and let's buckle up for a very interesting 2024.